Hello, I'm here today to talk to you about how to effectively recycle and what some of the problems that occur because people don't recycle or overuse non-recyclable products. What happens when that over occurs? So, I'm going to talk about specifically Bowling Green State University, the university that I'm currently enrolled in, and their recycling policies. However, I am going to mention a couple other things that could help if you aren't from here. So, first of all, recycling is huge on our campus. I mean, it's in the name, green, we want to be green. So, there are a couple of things you can do if you're not specifically going to recycle. So a lot of times, actually all the time, at Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts on campus, you do get a discount if you come in with a reusable cup like this one. It's plastic, you wash it, you clean it out and bring it back. They come with a straw. Same for Dunkin'. I used this one this morning. So they sell those. They're relatively inexpensive. And if you had a Starbucks one, you could also use it at Dunkin'. In addition to that, when you go to places like Jamba Juice, I don't know if they take reusable cups. However, you can bring your own straws. And so straws like this one I got on vacation. A lot of ports that are on the water, obviously they're a port. They sell straws like this to promote people to stop using disposable ones because of how it harms the water and the sea life. So these ones are nice and thick and they're longer, so they're good for like smoothies or milkshakes and stuff like that. Um, in addition to that, there are metal straws that you can purchase on Amazon. They're around $10, and those can be used with any sort of cup. They come with cleaners and stuff like that, which are really helpful for the environment. And in addition to that, you can also get reusable plastic silverware that you can take around with you. It comes in a carrying case, and you can wash it when you get back. And so that reduces use for disposable eatery dining stuff like these because these cannot be recycled. As far as things that can be recycled, now it's common sense for us to all think about, plastics and, papers and aluminum. However, if any of that is contaminated with any sort of food residue, like grease, or even if you wanted to get rid of, like a smoothie, one of the smoothie bottles, if that still had any remnants of food and you recycle it, it can ruin an entire batch of recycling. Same with the common knowledge of pizza boxes having grease in them. If you recycle that pizza box, it's going to ruin the whole load of recyclables. So some things that you can recycle, specifically Bowling Green takes plastic containers number 1 through 7, so that keep that in mind when you're looking at things to recycle. I don't know if there are any past 1 through 7, but those are the ones we do take here. Obviously, office paper, newspaper, unbroken glass and jars. That is because a lot of the custodial crew has to handle the recycling that we put in those bins, so they don't want to get injured themselves. And then cardboard, which obviously I don't know in other residence halls, but in Founders there's a separate dumpster for that. So some things that you cannot recycle, or that are more difficult to recycle would be plastic bags. That would be the ones that you get at grocery stores or at outtakes. Those bags cannot be recycled in the residence halls. You have to specifically go to the union. It is outside of Falcon Outfitters. It is in the middle of other garbage cans, and in the middle there is a plastic bag one, and you have to take the bag specifically to there or they will not be recycled. Styrofoam is a big one. Styrofoam takes millions of years to break down in the world, so as a campus and as people, we should be really trying to stray away from styrofoam. I know Dunkin' Donuts has said that they will get rid of their styrofoam packaging for their disposable warm drink cups, so that's a good thing. Plastic wrap, like saran wrap that you put over things, that cannot be. Also, a lot of times when they have the sandwiches, so plastic wrap it, you cannot recycle that, even if you clean off the food residue. So napkins, tissues, paper towels, that's just because they're going to have residue on it regardless, which would ruin the whole batch. And that's about it for the list that I've composed here. Some things to consider is just to rinse out if you have like a cup or something, or like a bottle, like this one for body armor. When I finish this, if I'm going to recycle this, I need to make sure I rinse it out just so it doesn't have any remnants on it. So that's important. But something to consider is what happens when you don't recycle or when you overuse disposable products. Now, I understand that a lot of products they do have reusable options as to like you can use reusable silverware, plates, you can use cloth napkins instead of disposable napkins. That one isn't as big necessarily because most napkins are paper and they do break down eventually. However, paper is not a renewable resource. Trees are not a renewable resource because they do take so much time to grow back to be cut down, and we are killing a lot of rainforests, which is a huge problem currently. However, most of the damage from these things is held in and felt by marine life. So a lot of times those plastic bags that we talked about earlier that you get from outtakes, they emulate squid and jellyfish, and a lot of the animals that eat those things will eat that, confusing it, and then they don't digest it because you can't digest the plastic. So that blocks their intestines and their stomach and makes them think that they're full, so they can't eat any other things that actually has the minerals and the vitamins and stuff that they need, the proteins. Um, so they'll starve to death, and that's a lot of times what we see when they end up on the beaches, and when they've passed is because it's created such a blockage in their stomach that they can't have anything else, which is definitely a huge problem and extremely sad to see. But it's not just marine life that experience these things. You'll get marine birds that also, seagulls, you'll see a lot of times eat plastic because they confuse it for their actual food sources. So it's when a lot of times we see save the turtles. A lot of companies use it as marketing. I mean, who doesn't love a good turtle? And that is because they experience a lot of hardship because of these plastics. So when these plastics in the environment start to break down, there's a thing called microplastics. They are everywhere. It's not just in the sand or in the animals, but a lot of times when the microplastics get mixed in with the sand, they don't heat up at the same rate as the sand does. So for sea turtles, when they lay their eggs, the heat of the sand, it determines the gender of the turtle, which is a really big deal. Also, the varying temperature could also kill the egg because it's not kept at that consistent temperature that they do need. So that's why it affects them a lot. I know there is a very viral video of a plastic straw being pulled out of a turtle's nose, but just a reminder, that's not the only side effect that they get from these things. It's not just the plastic straws, it's the bags, it's the styrofoam floating. And it's not just turtles, it's whales, stuff like that. So a lot of animals are really getting hurt from that. And in addition to that, a lot of animals get trapped in this debris. So a lot of times from fishing supplies or from fishing cages and stuff like that, nets. It's called ghost fishing, and these nets will get left behind or forgotten, and the animals that are trapped in them will eventually perish because they can't get out. Or I know this was popular in Happy Feet. One of the characters had the can holders, the plastic ones, the thing that holds them together, had one of those strapped around his neck, and he was gonna die because he couldn't breathe and couldn't eat because it was constricting his airway. So, animals can be entrapped in them. They can eat it's not just, it's not just the pollution that occurs because of it. In addition to that, animals are not the only ones that are affected by this. A lot of times, humans can be affected by it as well. Ours is a little bit more trivial, but it is still a problem. In a lot of areas that rely heavily on tourism, this pollution and littering can be a really big issue because when tourists are coming, they don't want to be on a beach where there's litter and debris everywhere. They want to be on that beautiful scenic beach. So it can really harm the industry there, as well as it can harm the fishing industries, because a lot of fish are getting killed off, that there's not as much to get from them. And then also because a lot of them have plastics in their systems and you really can't eat that kind of fish. So that causes a problem in itself. So, some ways to help the environment, some fun things that we can do. There are a lot of companies that promote, recycling. There are 4Ocean bracelets that you can get that use the plastics that they collect from the ocean and from beaches, and they make them into bracelets, and by buying a bracelet, you promote their company. But some things for recycling specifically. There is an app called Recycle Coach. It's loading on my phone right now. And so it'll show you, I have mine into bowling green right now. Obviously when I go home I will change it. But it'll tell you how to recycle here. recycling events that happen, where you can recycle, where you can put your recyclables. It gives you so many options as to places where you can recycle, and it gives you points and pointers, which is really helpful. And that is called Recycle Coach. And then there's also another app called Recycle Nation, and it's asking me to put on notifications. But that is another app that's available that'll help you. It gives you tips, it'll give you news in your area about recycling and stuff like that. And then another thing that's really, really popular on campus is Ecosia, which is a search engine similar to Google, or like you would have Safari on your phone. And so you download Ecosia, you can put it on your computer or on your smartphone. And for every search you do, it keeps track. So right now I'm on 68 searches. And then on average, you need about 45 searches to plant a tree. So every so often, every so many searches, they make enough money off of ads and stuff like that to plant trees. So that's a really cool small thing you can do. It's a good search engine. It works for me. If you are so against it, you can always type in Google into that search engine and get that from there, just to do your part to help. But these are a lot of small tips that you can do to make a huge difference. There's other things you can do, like meatless Mondays, which a lot of water is used in the production of beef and meats. So if you stray away from that, you can save a lot of water, which is really cool too. But thank you for watching. If there's any questions or comments, I will answer them if you leave a comment. I'm going to link my research paper that I did write for my GSW 1120 class about this same topic, where it'll include citations for some of the things that I mentioned in this video. But thank you for watching.